Hey, welcome back to the garden. It's 2024 and I'd say it's high time I give you an update on my edible hedge project. I've got some new things in bloom and in fruit right now, some apples behind me, some trees that I grafted a couple years ago, also seedling trees. So let's flip around and take a walk through. Last year I added a couple of peach trees and this one looks pretty healthy, but they both gotten a bit of leaf curl, and so I probably need to do some spraying. That one looks like it has a peach on it. I kind of don't actually want that there. I'm just gonna pull that off. Down here, I've got some native milkweed and some blackberries. Those are taking off pretty vigorously. If I had this project to do again, like from when I started it, I would probably be adding more things like blackberries, black raspberries, strawberries, because they start filling in a lot quicker than some of the other things. This is a kale plant. It's gone to seed. This is probably 3 years old, and so this is a perennial one. I have a few varieties of these, which I got the seeds from Experimental Farm Network, the Kaleidoscope Kale Mix, which I highly recommend. They've been pretty great and been able to have kale a lot of the year. These are the service berries that I originally planted back in 2018. There's 3 bushes out of the 12 that ended up doing anything. This one's nice and healthy. I've even been able to give some of the suckers away. Got some suckers coming up, and I've also planted it a few other places around the yard to see what it'll do. There's another perennial kale plant. I've got some lavender down here, and this is kind of a surprise to me. It's one of my seedling apple trees. And the reason I say it's a surprise is this was only planted in 2020, so it's a 4-year-old tree. And I have some grafts on here. These branches are cherub. I've got a few other things on here like Edder's Gold and Sweet 16. And then there's more branches up there, which I'm going to be grafting over to other things probably. Just more herbs and things down here, some sage, some weeds, need some weeding. Oh well. Black currants, another service berry, June berry, whatever you want to call it. And some flowers and things. That's this stuff down here is Good King Henry, which sort of like spinach, I guess, a little sour, maybe more like wood sorrel. It's all right, not my favorite, but we've kind of got a dead zone here because I've got a big walnut tree just right over there. Some things grow. Sage is growing pretty well, oregano. But let's go take a look at the other side. So I figured we'd take a look at my little micro apple orchard here. And the trees are in various states of growth. These were all planted a couple years ago. But a couple of them have fruit. So this one is Red Devil. It's got some fruit on it. This one here has one small, well, not small, it's got one apple on there. And those are the only ones with fruit, but probably some of these other ones next year, depending on how they grow, will have fruit. This one here is growing pretty vigorously. Here's a little seedling bed area. I've got 4 different seedling apple trees here. One's a Cosmic Crisp seedling, and another is a cross between King Wixen and Cherub, I believe. And then two seeds which I picked up, 2 seedling trees which I picked up from apples along an old canal. Got some gooseberries, a grafted tree, Ape Etole, I believe it's called. That's on G214, and that's the rootstock that I have growing on the cordons as well that I just showed you. Some more seedling trees. I'm going to be going out along an old canal, and there's a bunch of old canals around here, and the thing is that they used to bring horses through there and feed them apples, and they'd poop out seeds, or seeds would fall out. So there's a lot of apple trees growing along the old canals, and there's some pretty good apples. This is a persimmon tree, and just generally a new bed area that I'm trying to establish here. Some more. This is the black raspberry patch, berry patch area, which is kind of overgrown, needs a bit of weeding. But if we scoot down here a bit, got a pawpaw tree. This one is from 2021, but it's finally putting on some growth, and they've got these nice big leaves on it. So I'm excited about that. Maybe in another 10 years I'll have some fruit. Here's another little bed area where I've got a couple elderberries. This one's from 2021, and I put this one in last year, 2023, because this one doesn't really self-pollinate that well. It will self-pollinate, but I just haven't been getting that much fruit. So we'll see, maybe this year it'll be different. And it's got some other things growing around in here, a bunch of weeds. I guess that's the story around here. I need to do some more weeding. But this rhubarb is doing pretty nice. We got some more rhubarb over here. This is one of those things that seems to grow better in other parts of the yard than others. And these hazelnuts here are doing really well. I also planted these about the same time as I planted this one. So, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. Here's another thing that I'm growing, grapes. And these are maybe a couple years old. I guess 3 years. This is the second and third season for these grapes. I just put this trellis in last year, but I had planted a couple of the vines before. And I've got Niagara and Catawba, and then this guy is a Muscat grape that I grew from seed, so we'll see how that does. But the nice thing about these is they're flowering already. So this would be, I think, a good thing to, if you're trying to establish a little backyard orchard. Grapes are kind of a good intermediate fruit that's going to start bearing fruit before some of the other bushes and things. Over here I have haskaps or honeyberries, and I've really been struggling with these plants. They're just not establishing that well. I've ordered these several times from different nurseries, and they just they're not really taking off. For me, they're slow growers, and so I'm trying to get some new plants started by layering them here a bit. So I just bent down some of the branches, and so this will turn into a new bush. I'm gonna pull out this milkweed because I don't want that there. Yeah, so maybe I'm gonna put in another row of apples next year, and I'll try some of these over in a different spot of the yard, because there's actually another walnut tree on the other side. So it might be a little bit too close. Who knows? And here's another one which I forgot to mention when I was discussing the kale plant. It's a, let me get out of the shadow here. It's a sour cherry, a Juliet variety, and so there's a few different types that this breeder created: Romeo, Juliet, Carmine Jewel. I have another Carmine Jewel. I have a Carmine Jewel on the other side. This one is Juliet, but I'm doing the same thing down here, layering it up a bit, trying to get more plants, or just another shoot from this one growing over here. And that's pretty much all I have to show you today. So maybe when these apples are ripe, I'll do a tasting. But yeah, pretty exciting. Thanks for watching and happy growing. See you in the next one. Cheers.